recording. And now let's go to Facebook Live. Facebook Live. Authenticate. Groups. Mycosis fungoides. Let's create that. Click OK. Turn off my phone. Airplane mode. And here we go. Well, good afternoon, good evening, and maybe good morning, depending on where you are. Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Graham. I'm a member of the Mycosis fungoides group. I joined the group in September or October of 2015 when my mom was diagnosed with Sézary syndrome. And I found the group immediately to be a tremendous source of support for not only myself and my mom, but our entire family and friends. And first of all, I want to thank Lana Baker and Ann Peterson, the administrators of this group, for allowing me to host this Facebook Live broadcast. This is our inaugural broadcast here in the group. And to chat with Susan Thornton, who is the executive director of the Cutaneous Lymphoma Foundation. And she joins me now. Hello, Susan. Welcome.
Hi, Mike, and hi, everybody. It's really great to be here. Thanks for having me. And it's great to use technology to be able to talk to everyone today.
Absolutely. And Susan, just so that, I shared a little bit about myself and how I came to be involved with this group, but can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you came to be the Chief Executive Officer of the Cutaneous Lymphoma Foundation?
Sure, I'd be happy to. And some people may already know my story if you've been around the foundation for a while, but I'm also a patient, mycosis fungoides. I was diagnosed in 1991 with early stage disease. And, over the course of my first 6 years living with this, my disease slowly progressed to tumor stage. And I dealt with a lot of those things, a lot of different treatments that were available at the time, and ended up doing electron beam radiation in 1998. In what I thought was preparatory for a stem cell transplant, but fortunately for me, that treatment worked well, and I was able to get through that and did a lot of additional treatments for the next 10 years, but also wanted to give back and got involved in the nonprofit arena, originally with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society to raise money for cancer research. And then in 2008, I was invited to join the board of directors of the Cutaneous Lymphoma Foundation, and was excited to be with Judy Jones. Some of you may have known Judy, who started the foundation, and strangely, Judy and I were diagnosed the same year in 1991, but
Wow.
We didn't meet until 2008. So, and then I actually wanted to leave my corporate job in 2011, and an opportunity arose to join the foundation at that point in time. And I moved into this, the CEO role in 2012, and I've been here ever since. So
amazing. So you're making a living and making a difference at the same time. That's incredible.
there you go. Mm-hmm.
Now, so what stage mycosis fungoides are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, now, typically they say that you stay with your same stage throughout the course, and you don't really change from your initial diagnosis. But technically, I guess you would say I'm back to stage 1A. I have just a small amount of rash around my ankle, easily managed with topical cortisones at this point.
Well, I'm sure you're grateful as we are that you have the disease in check and you're able to help so many other people through your involvement with the foundation. Let's talk a little bit about the Cutaneous Lymphoma Foundation. And I think, one of the ways I think we can kind of talk about it is to kind of visit your website. Now, when somebody is first diagnosed with cutaneous lymphoma with cutaneous lymphoma, and specifically in this case, mycosis fungoides, since we are speaking to the mycosis fungoides group here on Facebook. And by the way, those of you that are just joining us, we're speaking with Susan Thornton, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Cutaneous Lymphoma Foundation, and we're so grateful to have her joining us today. If you do have questions or comments that you'd like to share with us or share with Susan, just post them right here just below the video, and a little bit later in this interview we'll get to your questions and we'll share them, we'll relay them to Susan so she can answer them. But Susan, when someone is first diagnosed with mycosis fungoides, it's a scary thing because they hear the word cancer. And, I know in our case, in my mom's case, when she was diagnosed with Sézary syndrome, our minds went to all kinds of places. I'm sure that's the case for many people, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think especially since this disease is routinely and very often misdiagnosed. So many people tell us that and I experienced this myself, they were diagnosed with psoriasis or eczema, atopic dermatitis, ringworm, you name it, any other type of skin condition. And then all of a sudden it seems to be out of the blue. Now they get this diagnosis of cancer, and a rare form of cancer, and with a weird name, and it doesn't make sense. So it's very scary. It's very scary. And it's hard to, if you go out to try to do research and you look up Dr. Google, hopefully our website comes up, but that's not always the case. Or people, charge around on the internet, and most of what's out there is not applicable to the individual who's really looking for information. So, that was one of Judy's big focuses when she was first diagnosed, and I know I experienced this as well. You feel very, very alone. And it really took me, quite frankly, until I became involved with the foundation, I had never met anyone who had been diagnosed with this. So I had never talked to anyone else. And I think, at least for me, I know that my brain can take some pretty scary turns and take me to places that I probably should never go alone without a guide. So, I think the foundation, that's really one of our main cornerstones, is to be the best source of information for folks that have been diagnosed and their families, to learn about the disease and to find resources.
Well, and to that point, Susan, and Judy Jones has been a tremendous source of support to me as well through the listserv that she started, which is an email list where people can connect with other folks just as they do here on Facebook and learn more about mycosis fungoides and treatments and clinical trials and all kinds of things. And so she is definitely a wealth of information. But your website, which we've got here on the screen as well, is a tremendous source of information. It was for us when my mom was first diagnosed, and maybe we can kind of do a brief tour of the website, because when somebody wants to get access to resources from the foundation, it's a great first starting place, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think first you've got the 2-day annual patient conference. So we run live patient educational programs around the country, actually around the world, throughout the year. And we have our annual 2-day conference coming up in June in Los Angeles. And we hope that I encourage people to come if they can. The event is free. You just have to get there and pay your travel costs. So that we just ask that you register, and we would love to see you join us. It's a great opportunity to actually hear from the experts in the field, meet other people in person, and we do clinical presentations along with quality of life. We have a great nutritionist giving a talk, and someone from Triage Cancer to talk about insurance navigation and some of those other challenges that we all deal with when we have this diagnosis.
Now that's great, and I see you've got a short video on your website that kind of gives people an overview. And I
Right.
know that some of these patient conferences are also simulcast
Mhm.
on the internet. Is that going to be the case with this one?
Yes. Yes, we added live streaming about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, so that for folks that can't get to the live events, you can sit at home just like we're doing here and watch and listen. And we open it up to Q&A to our home audience as well, so you can ask questions of the experts right from the comfort of your home.
That's
So,
great. Well, let's check out on your website here, as I know, and we're at clfoundation.org, so you can see that up here in the browser. But clfoundation.org, or if you just Google Cutaneous Lymphoma Foundation, you will find the website. But down here, I can see toward the bottom of the homepage, you've got find a treatment center and join the mailing list and other sorts of information. Then down below that, this online learning center. So if we click on that, can you give us a sense of the kind of information people can find here?
sure. So this was really an idea that we came up with to aggregate information together in what we hope was a very logical way for people to find what they were looking for. So we've been able to capture videos from the experts. You see a couple of them there on the screen that are very specific to a topic or a question. And then we also post articles and all kinds of information as well, so that it's hopefully easy to find what you're looking for. And you'll see on the left side of the navigation, I think it's the left, anyway, there's a navigation and you can look up things by disease. So there's mycosis fungoides and Sézary and so forth. And then at the bottom, it's by topic. So we've tried to organize everything so that you can get easy access to what you're looking for. And I will just also say that there's so much information out there, and one of the some of the feedback that we've received, although most people tell us that the website is a great source of information, I think sometimes it's a little challenging to find exactly what you're looking for, especially when you're first diagnosed, because you may not even know what questions to ask. So we undertook a big project to revamp the website. We'll be launching a brand new look and feel sometime over the summer, and hopefully it'll be a lot easier. We're going to categorize things, I think, a little bit better. So when you click on mycosis fungoides, some of the videos and the cutaneous lymphoma 101, so things will all be right there on the page, and then you can navigate from there based upon what you're looking for. So hopefully it'll be even better than it already is.
Well, I
But
think that's great, but I think there already is some great stuff, and I just want to welcome
mhm.
Ryan and Tina and some of the other folks that are just joining. Glad to have you with us. We are speaking with Susan Thornton, the Chief Executive Officer of the Cutaneous Lymphoma Foundation, and we're visiting their website, which is clfoundation.org. And here in the online learning center, let's just take a look, for example, at skin-directed therapy, Susan. I
Mhm.
mean, I can
Yeah.
see, for mycosis fungoides patients, obviously skin, there's so many challenges depending on what stage of your disease, but I think maybe a common denominator is finding ways as best you can to take care of your skin, and you've got some great videos to help people, right?
Right, right. Yeah, so you can see this page is a great example. There's a combination of videos that we've captured from the experts. There's some articles on skincare. Specifically, we've been able to capture some really great detailed information as well. So, as we all know, it's a skin lymphoma. It's a blood cancer, but it really impacts the skin. So taking care of your skin is really, really important. And we've done our best to try to pull together a variety of information from, how do you just take good care of your skin to how do you manage the itch if anyone is experiencing that really nasty side effect of the disease. Itch is really challenging. So there's some ideas there on how to best deal with that. And Dr. Akolov from the University of Pittsburgh did a really wonderful series for us in explaining all the different kinds of lotions, potions, which ones to use when, how to put them all together to take the best care of your skin. So I really would encourage everyone to take a look and find some of the articles, read through, see what might be as helpful to you as you're dealing with skin and treatments and all those other kinds of things that go along with day-to-day management of this disease.
Yeah, and when you talk about folks that are dealing with the itch at, let's say early stage disease, I mean, what are some of the latest best practices and suggestions?
Well, I think most of the experts would say treating the disease also helps to alleviate the itch, but sometimes that's also a challenge, and the treatments can take a while to really see some results on the skin. So keeping your skin very well moisturized is very, very important. And for folks that may have a little more disease on their skin, keeping it clean, with more extensive skin, as the skin breaks down a little bit, we're more prone to infections. So, there are some ideas in there for different ways to manage and keep your skin in really good shape so that, infection doesn't take hold if you've got a lot of compromised skin, or to keep the skin moisturized, which also helps to manage the itch a bit.
Now, are bleach baths generally recommended, is particularly if somebody has, let's say, a staph infection on the skin?
So that's one thing that can actually make the disease look worse than it is if you do have a staph infection or an infection of some sort. Bleach baths and we've got some instructions in the materials here on how and when to do that. So again, usually for folks that have a little more advanced or aggressive disease, maybe more plaques or tumors that are more open skin, to try to manage the infection. Most early stage patients, 1A, 1B, probably don't need it, but it's always good to know and to watch and to take care.
And when you're looking at the health and wellness section, I mean, I can see you've got several videos here. Can you give us a sense of what people can expect at this part of the site?
Sure. So we try to also capture, kind of the holistic perspective, right? So, it's not only understanding and learning about the disease itself and about the treatments that you're on and trying to understand which ones are best, but then how do you deal with staying as healthy as possible? Because I think we all know that the healthier we can be, the better our bodies are able to withstand the treatments, to actually help to manage the disease better. So we try to highlight topics on nutrition and on other kinds of wellness and how to take care of yourself in addition to taking care of the disease. Because I think one of the key components and the things that I've learned in living with this for 26 years is, you have to live your life too. And sometimes, the disease becomes the focus. And so if we can help provide ideas and ways to create a better life while you're living with the disease and while you're managing it, I think adds to a better overall quality of life in general. And it gives you a little better perspective on when it's time to make decisions and how to think things through. I think you have a little bit of a clearer perspective.
And I see that we're having a little bit of a challenge with the upload bandwidth stream, but we are recording this, so for folks that might be having a challenge with the video at times, we'll be posting a complete video of the interview afterwards up on Facebook. Susan, I do see that you also have a section for children and young adults, and I know for any parent, I don't know if there are many things scarier than finding out their child has been diagnosed with a form of cancer. For those folks, there are other special considerations and things to think about, right?
Right, right. And we don't often see children or younger folks diagnosed with the disease, but we do, but there are those folks that do are diagnosed, and we're trying to collect as much information about that we can share as possible. I will say that the researchers and the clinicians in the field are beginning to look at this particular age group, younger folks and children in particular, and reporting on some of the nuances that come with treating children. What we learned from Dr. Hodak, who is one of the experts in the field from Israel, and she's really been specializing in children who have been diagnosed, that we're finding that in children, mostly it's a very early stage disease, it's very well managed and treated, and phototherapy tends to work very, very well. And the key now will be, as we are capturing that information on those children and younger adults, to follow them through a lifetime, so that we can see if there are any other impacts later in life, if there are impacts from the treatments and so forth. But so far, we haven't seen any data that showed an adverse impact on children that have been diagnosed. So that's the good news.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if somebody is first diagnosed with mycosis fungoides, or actually they're not sure about the diagnosis because it can be difficult